Chris Scalzo here with...
Wow.
And on this episode of The First Run, Matt and I got back together again. And it hasn't been a month, it's only been a couple of weeks.
Merry Christmas.
I fear for the precedent that we're setting here. So this week we're going to talk about Creed. See, the problem is we didn't get to both see the same film. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Creed. Matt's going to fill us in on the latest Pixar film, The Good Dinosaur. We'll tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD for December 8th. And we're running out of time because the holidays are coming. And then we're also going to discuss briefly, because it just hit yesterday, the new Batman vs. Superman trailer, which I think there's a wide variety of no, there's not actually. There's just two reactions. People either love it or hate it. So we'll see where Matt and I come down on that. And then, since it's the holidays, we're going to tell you what we think the 5 best gifts are for the film fan in your life. So, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about Creed.
He's right over here. We had to separate him. He was fighting with the other inmates.
Hey, Donnie. Your father was a great man to me.
I don't know him. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Well, I think you could be great too.
So what made you want to fight?
My pop was a fighter. Died before I was born. Bounced around foster care, in and out of juvie. I've been fighting my whole life. It's not a choice for me.
You see this guy here standing back at you? That's your toughest opponent.
Who's next?
I believe that's true in the ring, and I think that's true in life.
Matt, one thing, let's get past the fact that this film made me confront my own mortality. Because it really made me feel old watching this thing, thinking that. Now, granted, when Rocky came out, right? I was I a zygote at that point? I mean, I was really. It came out the year I was born, didn't it?
Yeah, either 76 or 77. So you might have been
like a year or two
a
old
child.
At that point. Yeah, I'm not even a child.
Well, a toddler.
Thank you. I want the exact medical terms when I'm looking. So I didn't really, and to be honest, I didn't really find Rocky until Rocky 3. You know, that's would be like 1981, 83, I think, maybe. Either way, not until Clubber Lang, which still is one of my all-time favorite lines. When he's, what are you asking for what's going to be what's the prescription for the fight? And he said, pain.
Clubber, what's your prediction?
Pain. That's still a great scene. So anyway, I had to get past that part of it. And then there was Rocky Balboa, where Stallone kind of said, you know what, Rocky 5 sucked. We all know that. And I want to kind of take the character out on a higher note. So he gives us Rocky Balboa, which I'm going to tell you, from 2006, Matt, is actually not a bad film.
All right.
And I really felt that it was kind of the perfect send-off for that character. I really think that kind of Stallone had told everything he wanted to say with that character. Or at least that's what I thought. So I think when we first saw the trailers for this, you know, I love how they kind of mask the Rocky tie-in until the very end of the trailer when he walks into Adrian's, Rocky's restaurant. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, is there really more to tell in this story? Or even worse, there's the trap of just remaking Rocky for a new generation, but not updating it, not making it fresh, just bringing it back just to see if we can squeeze just a couple more dollars out of that franchise. Well, first thing that should have made you feel a little bit better, Matt, about that was the involvement of Ryan Coogler. Have you seen Fruitvale Station?
I have not.
On Netflix Instant, you should definitely watch it. It is a depressing as all hell film, but I'm telling you, it is a must-see. It also stars Michael B. Jordan, who starred in Creed. But Fruitvale Station is the story of Oscar... Oh, what's his name? Now I'm blanking on it. You think I would have prepared for this, wouldn't you? It's really embarrassing sometimes. Oscar Grant, and how he's kind of he's had a rough childhood. He's gotten a little bit of trouble in the past, but he's now finally turning his life around. And on one fateful 4th of July night, things go horribly, horribly wrong, and he's robbed of whatever future he may have. It is a fantastic film. Great performance by Michael B. Jordan. I was blown away by Fruitvale. I actually think it was in my top 10 that year when it came out. So we have Coogler comes around, and I guess he's got this great idea for Creed. A way to bring back the Rocky franchise. What we do is we take one of Apollo Creed's son and then introduce him into the Rocky world, and then we have Rocky train him, kind of doing a little reversal, right? Because Apollo's that helped Rocky defeat Mr. T, Clubber Lang at that point. And of course, he's the impetus, the inspiration for Rocky's beatdown of those red commies. That eventually there's a big love fest. Anyway, there's a lot of ways this thing could have gone wrong, but there's a lot of good people involved. And I got to tell you, Matt, this thing, it hits all the right notes. It does a fantastic job of updating the franchise. Because I'm going to tell you, it does kind of follow the exact same plot of Rocky. He's a young kid. He's kind of, he's down and out. He's struggling to kind of find out who he is, dealing with his famous father's name. He wants to make it on his own. He doesn't start boxing as Adonis Creed. He starts boxing as Adonis Johnson, and then meets up with Rocky and asks him to train him. He decides to really try and become the fighter that he thinks he can be. And then, of course, just like in the first Rocky, right, where Apollo wants to give just a no-name a shot at the title, there's this other boxer who's basically going into the Huskow because he's got caught with a gun charge and some other stuff. So he wants to give somebody a shot, one last big payday. And what perfect fight to do than to find the illegitimate son of Apollo Creed and cash in, get all that money. So while he's away for jail for 7 to 9 years, he'll be able to supply his family for money. So he gives Creed a shot, and then they go at it. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends, Matt. I don't want to ruin that for you. But I'm just going to tell you, it's pitch perfect. It's great work from the cast. Newcomer Tessa Thompson, who is a strong and supporting role. She plays kind of Michael B. Jordan's love interest in the film. She's a singer-songwriter, and she has her own personal challenges that she's dealing with. Felicia Rashad returns, because she was Apollo's wife in the original films, too. I'm sure trying to put all the Cosby stuff behind her, she finally gets out a little bit from that shadow. But she returns as well strong. But I got to tell you, for me, Michael B. Jordan is fantastic in this film. But the heart of the film, and you know it was going to be, was Stallone. Mm-hmm. There is whispers now of him being nominated for a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this film. And he is really good in this movie. This is one of probably his finest performances since Rocky. I have to say that. And I got to tell you, they do a great job. They do such a great job of updating it. Let me say that they give nods to all the great stuff in the past. There's the training montage. They bring the music back. The brass is in there, Matt, but it's updated a little bit more to kind of today's textures and sounds. But it's still there. You can hear it. And it's a great film. I think it's one of the more entertaining films that's come out this year. If you go see it, you will not be disappointed. If you're a fan of the franchise, even if you're not, you're gonna walk out of this thing happy. One other thing too that I want to mention briefly is how well shot it is. There's a couple really scenes when I was just taken aback. I was like, wow, that's perfect. Oh yeah, that's exactly how that should be. Oh, that's beautiful. So particularly for me is the end, Matt, when Creed comes out of the waiting room, whatever they call it. So there's this small, quiet room where everybody's just it's kind of tense and he's prepping and stuff. And then it's a long tracking shot following Creed and Stallone and the rest of the crew as they're walking out of the room, and then how they walk into the arena, and all of a sudden all the sounds and lights change. The crowd erupts, and it's a tracking shot the whole time through, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I can't give the film high enough marks. It is just a great time at the theater. No special effects, right? No superheroes. No, it's just good old fashioned drama, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Good. All right, that's a ringing endorsement. I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm excited and happy that you liked it. So I do have 2 quick questions.
Please.
You alluded to training montages. Is there some beef tenderizing going on in this?
No, there is no beef tenderizing. No.
All right. Any runs on the beach with Rocky?
No runs on the beach, but there are runs through the streets of Philadelphia.
Okay.
With, I guess, the hip thing now with the urban youth is the riding of quads and dirt
Okay.
bikes through the streets of
Okay.
Philly and doing wheelies and stuff. Now, listen, that's when I say talk about my mortality. It's another thing that bothers me too. It's one of those movies where I walked out of it, I really started feeling I'm a lot older. I'm not 25 anymore. There's
Right.
references now that I don't get,
Right.
and it really bothers me. It makes me sad.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now where people are gonna like the teenagers think that you're somebody's dad. It's really, really
Oh, yeah.
depressing. Yeah, it's really depressing.
Yeah, it's yeah. Like I still don't know what on fleek means. I know it means something cool, but I don't know what the origins of it and what it's supposed to mean. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it means on point.
Okay.
Is what it means. I don't know where it comes from though.
And like the phrase "keeping it 100." I had no idea if I hadn't seen an episode of Larry Wilmore's Nightly Show, I would have no idea what that meant. So I probably could have pieced it together.
Right.
But I'm just saying, there's just another example of just how out of touch I'm becoming. Clearly,
Well, get used to it. Get used to it, brother.
I gotta start hanging out with some young teenagers again. Though probably not the best idea either.
That's one way to get you 10 years.
So, yeah, I don't know. If you've had a chance to see Creed, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. That mailbox is still live and it does still work. Do you have any questions about Creed, Matt?
Nope. I think he answered them. No beef, no beaches, but really good movie.
Yes, I can't recommend it enough. So after that, we'll tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, Matt. That's December 8th. Big release for me. I think Ant-Man is getting released, but high prices. $19.99 I think is like your lowest. Though I think on Amazon right now you can pick it up for $17.99. But still, 19. In the Steelbook, there's a Steelbook that you get from Best Buy. That thing's like $30.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But it's new. It's new. That's really what it is.
So there's a 3D Blu-ray digital copy version. If you just get the Blu-ray, you don't get a digital copy, which is what leads people to torrenting. You may want to reconsider that, Marvel. And then there's Disney. The Disney does a good job of giving you digital copies, though, so it's just the Marvel stuff. As I said, Best Buy has the Steelbook, but it's only on the 3D version. And Target has a bonus featurette, but it's a digital one. It's not included on the disc. So it's one of those things you got to enter in a code to check it.
Right.
So I don't know how I feel about that. Includes a commentary by Peyton Reed and Paul Rudd, some deleted scenes, and a gag reel. I liked Ant-Man. I think you did as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
So I'll probably pick it up at some point, but I don't need to pick it up right now.
Right.
I guess next year for Black Friday. Can I tell you, Black Friday was okay this year, I felt.
Was it?
I thought it was all right. I think one thing I learned, though, I have to remind myself, is of next year to wait. Like, I think around July, just to stop buying movies.
Right.
And just wait till Black Friday.
Right.
And get a bunch of stuff then. For the kids, so Matt, you might want to know about this one. The Minions movie is being released as well. There's a 3D Blu-ray along with a Blu-ray DVD digital copy and Ultraviolet, as well as a Blu-ray that has all that stuff as well. Target has a exclusive metal box. There's 3 all-new original mini movies and an S-load of special features for this one. So if you're a fan of the Minions movie, you will be kept busy for quite a while. The other lost Eli Roth film, Knock Knock, is being released on Blu-ray. First, it was The Green Inferno, right? That was shelved for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one he did in the interim called Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, where he plays he's a married guy. I don't know if he's got a family or not. He's a married guy, and a couple of young ladies knock on his door on a stormy night with a broken down car, and they ask if they can call for help there while his wife is away. He lets them in. They, of course, go on to have dirty lovemaking, the 3 of them. I don't even know what to call it. It's just gross. And the whole thing, though, appears to be a setup, and they hold them hostage, and they threaten a bunch of people. So it's kind of like a thriller horror film with just horrible people. That comes with deleted scenes with optional commentary by Roth, and commentary as well for the whole film by Roth and some of the stars and producers, and a couple other featurettes. The desperate attempt to rebuild another franchise that started with a TV show that nobody watched. And then they brought back another film called Transporter Refueled to see if we can at least start the film version back, and that tanked as well because of Blu-ray digital copy. I got to tell you, no Jason Statham, no Chris Tickets. I have no interest in this series without Statham. I don't.
Right.
There's a couple of Blu-ray exclusive featurettes, but nobody cares. New to Blu-ray, Marvel Phase 2, exclusively to Amazon, Matt's getting released. Comes with Iron Man 3, 3D, Thor the Dark World, 3D, Captain America Winter Soldier, 3D. I don't know if you're noticing a pattern. Guardians of the Galaxy, 3D, Avengers Age of Ultron, 3D, Ant-Man, 3D. All of them include Blu-rays and digital copies, collectible packaging, with a whole bunch of cool little things that relate to all the films in this new phase. So I was thinking about that, Matt. I'm curious. What do you think? What was the better phase? Phase 1 or Phase 2? And let me know if you need a refresher on what's what.
I don't think so. So I think Phase 2 as a whole is more consistent, but I think the hires, like the really good stuff in Phase 1 is overall better than most of the stuff in Phase 2, if that makes any sense.
I would agree with you, except for the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy is in Phase 2.
True.
I think
Well, I mean, I think, you've got Iron Man, you've got the first Avengers, which I know I really liked. I know you were a little underwhelmed. And then, I guess what else is in? Yeah, I guess that's really it for Phase 1.
Well, Phase 1, yeah, because it's got the Incredible Hulk film.
Yeah.
So it's got Thor. It also has Iron Man 2, Captain
Yeah.
America, the First Avenger,
Yeah.
the other films. And listen, I'll tell you right now, Winter Soldier is a far superior film to the first Captain America movie.
No, definitely, yeah. It's
I
one
didn't
of the better ones.
I didn't care for Thor. I thought Thor 2 was a little bit better, but I still
Yeah.
don't care about the Thor films at all.
Right.
I don't care about. I would take Ant-Man over the Incredible Hulk any day of the week.
Yep.
So I gotta say, so the only big loss for me would be of Iron Man.
Right. True.
But for Phase 2, you're gonna give me Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier. I mean, granted, I'm settled with Iron Man 3, which I don't think is as bad as everybody says. I thought it was better than Iron Man 2.
Well, it was better than Iron Man 2, but that's pretty faint praise.
Yeah. And then I watched Age of Ultron again a couple weeks ago. I woke up one night. It was like 4 in the morning. I had a splitting headache and I couldn't fall asleep, so I just watched Age of Ultron again.
Yeah.
It was better the second time.
Okay.
I did enjoy it even more. So I would say Phase 2 is actually a better one, but I think strongly pulled by Guardians of the Galaxy and Winter Soldier for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So what else is getting out? Criterion is giving us another Harold Lloyd film, Speedy, and they're also providing us Takashi Murakami's Jellyfish Eyes from Criterion. Scream Factory, though I think it's just Shout Factory actually, is giving us, are you ready for this, Matt? The Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Nice. Thank you, Scream Factory. I didn't know I needed that.
Pulling that one out of the mothballs. 4 new featurettes about the making of the film. One on the effects, one on the set, an interview with the first assistant director. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Interview with actor Mackenzie Austin, and then The Kids Aren't All Right, interviews with the Garbage Pail Kid actors. And the theatrical trailer. Matt, are you an X-Files fan?
I was when it first came out. I only lasted through I think the first 5 seasons, and then after the movie came out, it just fell off the cliff, and I stopped watching it.
Are you excited for the relaunch next year?
I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I mean, I have no intention of watching those whatever last 4 or 5 seasons that I missed. But I'll watch it just to see what's going on.
What is it, It's 6 episode miniseries, right? Is it 6?
Yeah. It's only a 6 episode series, I think. So I can devote that time to it in the middle of January.
Yeah, I'd like to check it out too.
Yeah.
Well, they're finally getting released on Blu-ray. There's a box set of every season, or you can buy each one individually if you'd like, with a bunch of features and special features on it. So if you're an X-Files fan, you're finally getting your Blu-ray release. We're also getting FX2, finally.
Oh, sweet.
Somebody. And then Twilight Time's giving us 1984. And then The Detective, starring Frank Sinatra, both limited to 3,000 copies each. So if you're fans of those films, pick them up now. Straight to DVD of the week, Matt. It's a documentary, unfortunately. I really wish it was a more of a scripted film, but it's not. It's Big Bang in Pyongyang. Dennis Rodman is on a mission. After forming an unlikely friendship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, he wants to improve relations between North Korea and the USA by staging a historical basketball or that's the Japanese pronunciation. That's the Korean pronunciation. In America, we say basketball game. Between the two countries. But the North Korean team isn't the only opposition he'll face. Condemned by the NBA and the White House and harassed every step of the way by the press, can Dennis Rodman keep it together and make the game happen? Or will it all go up in a huge nuclear cloud of smoke? For the first time, uncover the true story of what happened when Dennis Rodman took a team of former NBA players to North Korea and executed the most controversial game of basketball the world has never witnessed. So if you want to go behind the scenes and how Dennis Rodman single-handedly saved the United States from nuclear annihilation, Big Bang in Pyongyang is the film for you.
Very nice.
So Matt, let me ask you
Yeah.
a couple things. What would you recommend for streaming for people right now? I got to say Jessica Jones. I'm only 2.5 episodes in. You're a little deeper.
Yeah.
What do you say? 5 episodes?
Yeah, 5 episodes in.
What's your estimation so far?
I would say this. I would think overall it's better than Daredevil as a whole. I think the acting's better. I think the characters are a little better. I mean, obviously some of the side characters in Daredevil were kind of corny, but I will say this: it has yet to hit any of the highs that Daredevil hit when it was really firing on all cylinders, and I don't know if it's ever going to get there.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about David Tennant so far?
I think he's a good villain, but even through 5 episodes, he's barely been in it. So
He hasn't. I was wondering about that because, like I said, I'm only 2.5 in. So
yeah, he's in it. He's in like a couple episodes from behind or kind of being chased around, but you don't really hear him talking a whole lot. He's really just starting to come around, and you're starting to learn his plan to a little bit at this point. So.
Well, I don't want to name drop, but a couple years ago, I friended Kristen Ritter on Facebook, and she accepted, which is cool.
Nice.
And I pointed out to her, which I thought was funny, is that I Googled her for some reason. I think it's because I was watching Breaking Bad at the time, back when she was the girlfriend that Walt... Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Doesn't do everything he should or could.
Right.
So I said, the number 2 Google search for her is Kristen Ritter feet.
I did not know that, but somehow that does not surprise me. Though,
Type in her name, and it's like Kristen Ritter, and then Kristen Ritter feet. So she found that quite amusing and thanked me for pointing that out to her.
Very good.
So that's my little moment of stardom. That and my
Aren't you friends with Frank Black as well?
I am.
That's
Charles
pretty cool,
Thompson,
too.
actually, his real name. How do you like that? And of course, Ernest Borgnine was an old friend of the family, but that's a story I'll tell another day.
I can't wait for that one.
Airwolf. Co-pilot himself. So, Matt, talk to me then. I'm a fan of the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, the vibe I got from Good Dinosaur was Cars and
Right.
not Wall-E.
Right.
How far off am I?
You're very far off, but you're not far off. If that makes any sense. So, this is the first time Pixar's ever released 2 movies in the same year, and the reason for that is because The Good Dinosaur was actually supposed to come out last year, and somewhere along the way, after it had been in development since 2009, they just kind of scrapped everything and then went back to the drawing board and started over with a new director. So that should tell you something about this. The premise of the story is basically the meteor that hit the Earth and caused the extinction of the dinosaurs misses Earth, and we're a few million years past that, and dinosaurs have developed kind of a rudimentary culture. They've become sentient. They have language, and it really follows the story of this Apatosaurus, one of the long-necked herbivore dinosaurs. They have a farm, and one of them gets separated, the youngest, who is very fearful and scared. He gets separated far away from home, and basically he has to do like a fantastic journey back to his house. And that's really the whole premise of the movie. And along the way, he comes in contact with like this feral human boy who becomes kind of like his pet and companion, and they travel, across Pangea back to their home, and that's really the crux of the entire story.
Are they looking for unobtainium at any point?
No unobtainium, nothing like that.
Okay.
It's there's no giant genetic dinosaurs running around or anything like that. No kids that they can terrorize. So
Okay.
it's a very interesting movie insofar as it's not like any Pixar movie that I've seen. So even the lesser Pixar, even like Cars to an extent, it has kind of a certain level of humor. It has a certain level of characterization and kind of a feel that you've come to expect in Pixar movies. All of that is really absent from this. It's not real funny, not real talky. the jokes that are there are very slapsticky, and some of it's actually kind of bizarre. There's like a weird like tripping scene, which seems a little stand out from the movie. There's no big bad guy or anything like that, but there are some, pretty scary scenes that are pretty intense. So it's a very different type of movie. So it's not like Cars, where it doesn't have even Cars still had that Pixar feel, had that kind of characterization, but it is definitely, I would consider, lesser Pixar.
All right, that's what also fits into your lesser Pixar bandwidth. What else is in there?
Cars and all of its ilk. So Cars
Planes.
2, Planes, all that kind of stuff. The sequels, I'm not a huge fan of the sequels for the most part. So like Monsters University, I'm not a huge fan of.
Toy Story 2?
Okay, I'll cut some slack for the Toy Story. I think those got better as they went along, or at least Toy Story 2 is better than Toy Story 1. I would even say Up. For me, I mean, obviously the first 20 minutes of that movie are some of the best animation that I've ever seen, but the rest of it, it's just kind of a silly Pixar movie. It doesn't really move me or anything. So I would say that's probably lesser Pixar for me.
I don't know. The first 20 minutes of that film are some of the most heartbreaking minutes you'll ever watch in a film.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but when you kind of take it as a whole, it's not that great. But I mean, this has the usual story beats. There's of course family trauma. That's sad. There's all kinds of like I said, no big bad or anything like that, and it's kind of dark in a lot of areas. I mean, there's this scene where these like flying pterodactyl type dinosaurs fly out of a storm, and they're going through the wreckage, and they find like some small mammals and stuff, and they bring it up, and like they rescued it, and then they eat it right there and on screen, and it's pretty gruesome, and then they go and try and eat the little kids. So there's actually a little bit more gruesome stuff in it than I would have anticipated. But it's got some cowboy T-Rexes in it, which is good. And one of the other things I will say about this is that the animation of like the scenery, like the water and the sunlight, and it looks almost photorealistic. It's absolutely incredible the way that they filmed it. It actually has some really beautiful shots. But the dinosaurs themselves are all very cartoony looking, which is a little bit of a disconnect, and I don't know why they went with that choice. And I did read somewhere that somebody suggested that this would have been a lot better movie if it was silent, if like nobody could talk in it, and that actually might have been a good choice in this, because it would have been really interesting visual storytelling in this film.
Interesting, because when I was pulling the clips for the show, I was trying to find a trailer, and all the trailers I found, there was no talking.
Right.
And I'm thinking, wow, did they actually go all in Wall-E style? Because the first 20 minutes of Wall-E, like there's no voices.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that would have been a bold move. But then I found a couple clips where there were southern or cowboy dinosaurs,
Yes,
T-Rexes, which was weird. But so I guess not. So that'd be interesting if they did. It would be fun if they did that as a special feature on when they release it for home distribution. If they either include the original version of the film that they scrapped,
Right.
or if they had like a silent version of it included.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, it's got some really cool shots in it. I mean, there's a scene where the cowboy dinosaurs or the cowboy T-Rexes are running through their cattle herd, and the sun's setting behind them. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And there's a really cool scene where the evil pterodactyls are flying through clouds, and their beaks are sticking down out of the cloud cover while they're looking. So it looks kind of like sharks, like going through the clouds. It's actually really cool. But it's pretty underwhelming. And if you have really young kids, it can be. I think it's a little scary. I think my daughter was a little scared in a few of the scenes. So
The child actor that you hired,
to
portray your daughter.
Well, at this point, I mean, I'm actually compelled to take care of her now, so she might as well be my child.
Fair enough. So for me, I said Creed is something you need to run out to the theater and see. Where does the Good Dinosaur fall on that spectrum? Is this a must see right now, or?
I wouldn't say it's a must see right now, but at the same time, at the same token, if you have kids and you want to take them to a movie, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of options. I mean, it's not terrible. I think it's better than Cars, but you're not going to be blown away by it.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, interesting. If anybody else has seen The Good Dinosaur, shoot us an email, feedback at thefirstrun.com. Matt, I don't want to lose track of this because I almost did. They released the new Batman vs. Superman trailer. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to ask you right now, pause the show, pull up YouTube on your phone, and watch the trailer. We'll wait. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're assuming you're back. Matt, let's talk about Batman vs. Superman. Now, I want to start this conversation by saying the first few trailers, the teasers that I've seen, I've thought have looked really good.
Yes.
And I've been really excited about it.
Yes.
Now I'm not so sure. Now, I've also talked previously in the show that I'm nervous about Zack Snyder because Man of Steel is a very flawed film. Has its moments, but it's a flawed film. I think, and I've always said too, I think the key to the problem is that they're relying too much on David Goyer for these movies. So, I don't know. Where do you fall? Are you like me? Are you more now like I cannot wait? Or are you more like okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna go see it, but it's my confidence level has dropped way. It went down and down and down and down and down as I watched that trailer, and yeah, it was starting to make me cringe. I have big questions about the choices that Jesse Eisenberg has made in playing Lex Luthor. I think those are some very bold choices that I don't know if are gonna pay off. I did notice that there seemed to be a marked effort to make it a little less grimdark. There's some jokes in there, and the jokes are kind of hokey, so that makes me a little nervous as well. And this is also one of those trailers that, I don't know about you, Chris, but this is one of those, it's kind of throwing everything out in the trailer. This is kind of like a Terminator Genesis kind of thing, where hey, they show you what you're going to do, then suddenly you see what this big villain, and I knew exactly who that was, and I'm like, man, they're really throwing this out there early. And then granted, we see a kind of cool shot of Wonder Woman, but yeah, I'm a little surprised that they kind of threw out the big bad towards the end there.
That's the first thing I wrote down was reveal.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't get any shots of Momoa as Aquaman, thankfully.
No.
You want to talk about horrible... Anyway, maybe they're holding that's going to be the big reveal, or, odds are it's probably just going to be a 3-minute cameo where it pops out of the ocean and says, hey, keep this crap out of the ocean. And then dives back in.
You kids, keep it down in my yard.
Hey, you. So, but those are my two issues I actually have is Eisenberg's choices with Luthor.
Yeah. And
the reveal of Doomsday. I don't have an issue with how it appears he comes about if it's indeed if that's what happens. I don't have an issue with that for some reason. I don't. I know it's different than the comic book version of it, but I don't mind leeway with stuff if it works. So I don't have an issue with that. My problem is I think we got too much information.
Yeah. I totally agree.
We already know. We know why the Batman and Superman are fighting, and it's obvious. Even if you didn't watch a trailer, you could piece together why they'd be fighting in the beginning. And I get that they need to have something that unites the two of them together, which I guess is this. And you know what? Maybe it's Snyder's baiting and switching us, and there's a lot more that's going to happen, and that's actually all going to happen like in the first half hour of the movie. I doubt that, but
why are you going to pull out Doomsday? One of the only things that can stand toe to toe, and then you're gonna kill that in the first 20 minutes of the movie. That makes no sense.
That's true.
Unless they're just gonna suddenly throw Darkseid in there from out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. There's parts of the trailer that I really liked that got me excited. One thing I'm gonna tell you, I think for all the Affleck haters, I think you need to shut up. Yeah. I think he's going to pull that off. I thought he looked great in the trailer. I think his suit looks fantastic. It's Dark Knight is what it is, his Batman suit, and I think it looks great. He's got the chin for it. He's the voice. He got it down. Yeah. I think Affleck's going to do a fantastic job as Batman. I'm very confident about that.
Yeah, I think that's just a mountain out of a molehill. I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised with it. People said the same thing about Heath Ledger. Dude won a posthumous Oscar, but everybody was bitching because they were like the guy from everything. What was it? 10 Things I Hate About You or whatever it is was going to be the Joker. And just give it a chance. I think it'll be fine. I'd be much worried just story beats how this thing is going to play out.
That's my concern as well. Or like when people announced Daniel Craig as James Bond, all the uproar. Oh,
Yeah.
he's not going to look. Oh, he does. He's got blonde hair. James Bond isn't blonde, and everybody
Right.
ranks him basically number 2 behind Connery. So it's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. I know what I think I'm going to like it. I still think I'm going to like it. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Your DC fanboyness is just really
Yeah.
you're really holding on here right now.
It
right?
is by its fingertips right now. But yeah, it is. I watched Man of Steel again the other day too. I get why he has him snap Zod's neck. I get it
Yeah.
because he's setting up the future and why Superman has this code of why
Right.
he will never kill. I get it. I still don't know if it makes sense to basically devastate the entire city of Metropolis. But then that's what brings in Batman, right?
Right.
So,
But I mean, and even just going back to the comic, I mean, the original Doomsday arc, Doomsday levels Metropolis.
Sure.
They end up killing each other, you
Yep.
know. So I mean,
that's true.
stuff happens.
No, that's very true, and that's very true. And like you said before with the trailer, it seems like they've injected a little more humor, which of course
Yeah.
is the biggest problem with Man of Steel, is you don't make Superman dark. That's
Right.
not his thing.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, what'll be interesting is to see how it plays off against Batman, who is supposed to be dark, right? Mm-hmm. As long as we don't get Ben Affleck doing the Batusi, I shall be okay.
What'd you think of the intro of Wonder Woman there?
I thought it was cool. I'm not sold on Gal Gadot. I don't know what it is about her face. She doesn't look, I don't know. It doesn't look old enough. Like, I mean, I think Diana Prince should be a little older, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Fair enough. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see what happens. Just a few months to go. Besides, we got to focus on Star Wars anyway. So
Yeah, let's get our priorities straight here.
that's right. We got to survive all of that first. All right, let's move on then, Matt, to the 2015 gift guide for the movie fan in your life.
All right.
I originally had 5, then I realized I misnumbered it, and I actually have 6.
Okay.
So I'll just say not the one thing that I have to cut out now, but I'm still going to mention it, is they have a melting tot candle. So from the Nazi SS agent from Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Oh, really?
they have a candle now because he melts at the end of
Yeah.
Raiders.
Right.
Well, they have a candle now in his visage that melts when you burn it.
That's pretty sweet.
$30, so you can pick
$30.
that up.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is going to be an expensive list.
Yeah, pretty much. So what do you got? Why don't you start things off legitimately then with number 5?
All right. Well, this was not initially my number 5, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about it since you mentioned it, the Blu-ray and DVD picks, but was the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2 Collector's Edition Blu-ray for the low price of $185 currently. But as you already pointed everything out, but it is pretty cool. You get a life-size, a 1-to-1 scale ratio of the Power Gem in its little holder, which is pretty freaking cool. If you have $185 to burn, and you get a whole lot of little goodies. So for your Marvel fanboy or fangirl in your life, this is something that could make their day.
Definitely. Yeah, that's actually my number 5 as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to pick, you can definitely pick that up. That's a good pick. Matt, all right then. That brings me then to my number 4, which I think right now is my favorite film of the year. I'd have to sit and think with that. But I'm just going to say Mad Max Fury Road. I don't usually normally just pick a movie.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, if you're a fan of action movies, you have to see this film. It is just a fantastic updating of the Mad Max film series. There's stuff in here that you'll see that you've never seen before. And it is just a riveting film from start to finish. I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road, you have to check it out as soon as possible. I'm telling you, it's one of the best films of the year. So if you're going to blind buy anybody a movie, that's the one to get.
All right. So, Chris, do you like to drink?
Not professionally.
Not
Only in
professionally,
bars.
but you do enjoy a libation every now and again. Yes?
Sure.
Yes, and you are a big film fan, so I think this gift is for the film fan drunk in your life, just like Chris.
Nice.
So this is actually called Cocktails of the Movies. So it's 87 drink recipes from famous films and the characters, and it gives you a little blurb on where they filmed, the history of the drink, and where it was in the film. So you get things like the Dude's White Russian, James Bond's Martini, the 7 and 7 from Saturday Night Fever, and a whole list of fun drinks that you can drink while you're watching these films. So if you want to get your buzz on and you want to read a little bit of film history, I recommend it. It seems like a pretty cool little buy for a whopping $15.
Nice. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal. I did see that as well. I thought that was pretty interesting. My number 3 for that, Matt, then, is exclusive to Amazon again for $215. You can get the collected works of Hayao Miyazaki. Pretty much the preeminent Japanese animation, director, producer, artist, whatever the case may be. But includes Lupin 3, The Castle of Cagliostro, Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, you may know, Spirited Away, one of my favorite films, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo and the Wind Rises. There's also some bonus featurettes as well of a TV pilot he did in 1972, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's basically everything Miyazaki's ever done, collected on a Blu-ray set. And $215 right now on Amazon. So if you're a fan of anime at all, you might as well just go with the master and then pick up Miyazaki's box set.
Yep. It's my number 3 as well. Great films. He's retired. Studio Ghibli is not producing any more films, so this is your chance to kind of pick it all up in one gorgeous set. And these are actually great films that everybody, even if you're not an anime fan, you should check them out. I know a lot of people who aren't into anime, they still enjoy these films.
I'm not myself. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I saw Spirited Away, and I was just floored. I absolutely loved it. So my number 2 then, Matt, is the Film Festival in a Box. Are you familiar with this?
No, I am not.
Okay, so how it works is there's 3 tiers to choose from. There's $18, which gets you one genre, maybe chillers, dark comedies, love movies, zombie. $68 gets you a year's worth plus, where you get a bundle of a bunch of different ones. And there's a deluxe box as well, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it. So how it works is you sign up, they ship you out this box. You got to get at least 2 people together, maybe more. You pop in a DVD and you all watch 4 short films, right?
Okay.
Then you deliberate amongst you and award them. So, like, which was the best picture, which had the best performance and the best original story. Then you go online to indieflix.com/vote, and then there's also a trivia game as well. So it's just kind of it's basically like watching a movie party in a box. You get together with some friends and then have a good time and have your own little award ceremony and stuff. It just seemed like a fun little idea. So I thought it might be kind of a fun thing to check out. So that's why it's my number 2. Film Festival in a Box. Just Google it and you can check out all the details.
That sounds pretty cool. I like that pick.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, so it's the holidays, which is the entire reason we're doing this list. So for those of you who work in an office instead of in a sweaty desk chair in your underwear like Chris does, you may be having an ugly sweater party coming up. So Middle of Beyond, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they have a lot of crazy sweaters. They have Krampus sweaters. They have, Cthulhu sweaters. But new this year, they have a very special Iron Giant Christmas sweater.
Ooh.
It's actually really cool. It's got snowflakes, but also reliefs of his head. The center is him standing in silhouette in the forest. It's actually a really cool sweater. Little pricey at $85, but well worth it if you're going to pull the trigger on any of these sweaters. This would be my choice.
Can I tell you, I don't get the Christmas sweater thing. It's a subculture I've never really gotten into. I saw a Friday the 13th Christmas sweater one that I thought was kind of amusing.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the big thing right now is the Christmas sweaters. The last couple of years, it seems to really have blown up.
Yeah, well, since we are employed at the same place, they're having one at work, and we were told in no uncertain terms that we will participate. I've gone through 3 sweaters at this point, trying to find one. I ordered one, and it was on back order, so I had to cancel it because it's not going to get here in time for the event. I ordered a second one, and it was way, way too small for my fat ass, so I had to go and get a third one, and I think this one's going to do it for me. So And they were progressively less cool. The first one was a Star Wars Christmas sweater.
Nice.
Didn't come in time. The second one had robots and was way too small. This other one is just kind of like your standard ugly Christmas sweater. I'm a little disappointed, but I got to do what I got to do, I guess.
You couldn't go to like a Spencer's Gifts or a Hot Topic or something? I'm sure they would have had them.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think the mall over here has any Spencer Gifts. I don't even know if there is a Hot Topic in West Farmers Mall.
All right. Well,
I was forced to go to Kohl's.
Oof.
But it is an ugly sweater.
I shouldn't say oof. I tend to buy all my clothes at Kohl's now that I think about it.
There you go.
I'm not very highfalutin. So, Matt, I'm starting to think you and I may have the same number one, but I'm not sure.
I highly doubt it.
Okay.
I highly doubt it.
All right. Well, my number one is a gift that you're going to pay for, and you're not going to get anything for it for probably a year.
Oh, I know what this is.
But it's going to be worth it. What I want you all to do is to go online and go to Kickstarter.com. And you're going to basically just do a search for Bring Back MST3K. That's right. Joel Hodgson is bringing back Mystery Science Theater. They've already locked in 6 new episodes. Now, I'm going to give you the update right now. So it's Thursday night at 9:52, December 3rd. Okay. 30,583 backers. They currently have $3.65, not quite, but $3.65 million donated. So if they can get the 5.5, they're going to do a full season of 12 episodes. But it's a Kickstarter, right? So the good thing is you have the pledges and you get a bunch of rewards depending on what dollar amount you pledge. And I think for me, $100, I haven't done anything yet. And I know you were thinking about doing this too, and I don't know if you pulled the trigger yet.
No, I have not.
Okay. You got 8 days left.
I know.
So, but for a cool hundo, you can get a digital download of the whole season, right? So you get all the episodes with no DRM, so you can watch them and play them wherever you want to do. Give them to your friends if you want, if you're a horrible person. And then it also includes all the rewards for all the other price stuff, which is like bumper stickers, coffee mugs, T-shirts, a whole ton of stuff. And they also have other sales too, where you can actually buy digital episodes of all of the old shows. Pretty much, I think it's for like $150, maybe $200. I don't remember what it is. You can actually get all of the available Mystery Science Theater episodes as digital downloads right now.
Oh wow!
So, because you remember too, they're not released in seasons. They release them as they get the rights to re-release them. Right. That's why they come out in box sets of 4 every like 6 months.
Right.
So, just as a favor to me, please go support this. I'm just trying to figure out how much I can give. We have 8 days left. They've already announced the cast. If you haven't heard, Patton Oswalt is TV's son to TV's Frank, which I think is perfect casting. I'm very excited about that. I confess I don't know who the new guy is that's hosting. I'm not familiar with his work. But okay. I mean, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he's a writer for Saturday Night Live or something like that. And
is it Felicia Day is going to play the new Mad?
Yes.
And the thing that always throws me off is that we have 2 new puppeteers and voices for Crow and Tom Servo. But you get used to it. Mm-hmm. And I like Joel too. He said his intent for the show always was basically that it would run forever, and that like every 5 years or so you just refresh the cast, bring in new people, and just kind of keep going.
Right.
So that's my number one. Support MST3K. Bring it back, folks. Do it for the kids.
Well, that's really good. You should have gone last because that's I can't follow that. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a better choice than what I had.
Well, all right, Matt. Well, I might as well limp to the finish line then. What's your number one?
Well, we really should coordinate some of these things, but so my number one. So I don't know if you're aware of this little film that's coming out pretty soon called Star Wars. Are you familiar with it? The Force Awakens.
Is that the one with Captain Kirk?
No, it's the one with the guy in the black leather outfit thing, and the girl with the buns on her ears.
Pulp Fiction.
Yes, that's it. Well, I don't know if you've heard of this film, but it's going to be a pretty big deal. So if you're in the market for dressing up and being a nerd and really just getting into the spirit of this whole thing, that can be an expensive endeavor. So what I recommend for the Star Wars fan in your life is to go out to ultrasabers.com and you can select a custom-made LED lightsaber which looks absolutely awesome, from their grab bag choice for under $100. Now, unfortunately, there's no sounds. Yeah, well, the ones with sounds, I've looked, they're $200 and up. So if you want to buy one of those, you can certainly do that, and you can customize it out with a range of dozens and dozens of different hilts and colors and lengths and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just looking for something just kind of easy and quick, and you don't really know what you're going to get, and it'll be kind of like a surprise grab bag, you can go out and order one of their grab bag sabers. They'll send you a random hilt and a random color. It'll be made out of a hard polyurethane that you can duel with. You can smack around and it won't break. It's actually really cool. I ordered one for my brother for his Christmas present. So I'm very curious to see what this thing is going to look like, because if it's cool, I may end up getting one for myself.
And what's it called again? Where can I check this out?
ultrasabers.com.
And are these legit, like, licensed things?
No, they're not. They're not. You can't buy like Luke's lightsaber, but you can buy one that looks amazingly close to it. That's called like the Guardian or something like that. And they also have their own. They have their own designs.
All
so
right.
you can buy one that looks like Kylo Ren's with the ones on the side. You can buy one that's curved like Count Dooku's. I know what you're thinking. Just go check it out. They are really cool. There are specific licensed ones, but the licensed ones that are equivalent are going to cost you like $400 or $500.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Preferred Luke lightsaber color, blue or green?
I think I'm going to go with green.
Me too, actually. Yeah. I would go with green as well.
But the best lightsaber color is the best part about him, which is Mace Windu and his purple lightsaber. That thing was sweet.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think I still got to go red.
Well, you can order that. They have a wide range of colors for you to choose from.
And to go further off topic, though still in the same ballpark, did you see J.J. Abrams' explanation for the Ren, what's his name, Renfro?
Yes, Kylo Ren.
Why his lightsaber looks like it does?
I don't know. I thought it was unfinished, that he didn't really know what he was doing.
My understanding of it is that it was a very old one, like a very old original lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
From
Very
back
cool.
in the day. So he's got an antique one, and that's why it has the guard that would, I'm assuming, slice his hand off if he ever touched said guard.
Yes, it's very true.
So anyway, Kylo Ren,
I'm pretty excited for this movie.
Skywalker's son.
Skywalker's son. That's right. That's what we're calling it. We're calling it Skywalker's son.
That's right.
Well, no, actually, didn't we decide that it was Solo?
Leia's? It's Solo's son.
It's a Solo.
That's
Solo.
right.
It's Leia,
It's Solo's kid.
Leia and Han's kid, right?
And the woman is the daughter.
Right.
That's right.
Twins all over again.
So there you go, everybody. The movie, you don't have to go see the movies now.
We've explained it all to you.
And remember, too, that she ends up killing him, right?
That's what we think. That's what we think.
See, now you don't have to go. It's all over.
Wait for it on Blu-ray. You'll be good.
All right, so make sure you go out there. Remember, Kickstarter, bring back MST3K. Matt wants you to do it as well. We all do. 8 days to go, folks. By the time this show is posted, 7, maybe 3. Who knows? But I'm telling you right now, there's not a lot of time left, so go check it out.
Very good.
So that's a big show for this week. Next week, it's kind of things are a little up in the air. I will definitely be seeing Krampus. I'm not sure if Matt will get a chance to. We'll see. I still haven't talked about Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 36. I got to tell you about what I thought of that. So there's a lot coming up. So hopefully we'll be back next week with our discussion of Krampus. After that, Matt, I think what's going to be The Big Short. I'd really like to check that out as well. And then it's here. Then it's Star Wars.
Then it's here.
So we'll deal with that when it happens. Feedback at thefirstrun.com. Shoot us an email. That's The Big Show for this week. We're going to take an extended break, and we'll see you all in a week.
Shoot them. Shoot them both.